What is up, you guys? So I'm about to do a review to One Piece episode 746. Now, this is officially the last episode of Dressrosa. Even we got certain bits here and there, filler bits of Dressrosa. Now let's start from the beginning. Actually, we got started off with a conversation between Robin and Law about how what's Law going to do from here on in. Now that Doflamingo's taken out of the way. Speaking of Doflamingo, we'll see him later in this. They're getting moving on, and so are we. Hopefully we never have to go back to Dressrosa again. Although the one main thing we saw was the silhouette. Well, we saw the silhouette of somebody talking to CP0, and we get obviously the guy on the left, Spandam, and you know who's in the mask with a pigeon on his shoulder, Rob Lucci. And obviously they've been tailing the revolutionaries, apparently because they had something, maybe some interest in the weapons that were being discovered. So we'll have to see. The thing about this, the reason why I didn't do a live reaction to this episode, number one, Lucci, if you realise this or not, is already involved. It was already in the trailer to One Piece Home Goals, so that kind of took away the element of surprise, in my opinion. But it's still a cool moment in the manga. I remember I was spazzed out when I saw that. That was one of the first panels or pages in the chapter, so that was a pretty big deal. It's a pretty big deal in this episode. So, and then the last thing we see before we cut away from Lucci, I'm curious who that guy who was talking on the Dendemushi to Lucci was, because we see the silhouette and we see a big nose. I'm maybe reading too much into this, but we didn't see a silhouette when in the manga, I'm pretty sure. Now, before we move on, we see the statues being made of Kiros, Usopp, and Luffy, and I thought Usopp's statue was probably the most hilarious, given the fact it was the same look they gave when he took down Sugar, so that was funny. And then finally we move on to, we see Fujitora's fleet, and we see Fujitora eating some noodles, and see his slight brief conversation with Sengoku about apologizing to Sakazuki, Akainu, but Fujitora's not having any of that because he's got a face of his own that he wants to say. So, and then what more can I say about the conversation between Suru and Doflamingo? And even though Suru said, you know, you need to grow up, you lost, Straw Hat kicked your ass, and it's over with. But Doflamingo switches that after Suru asks, "What do you think is going to happen to the Power World now?" And Doflamingo was, "Oh, I knew the switch was coming, and I knew it was going to be epic, but I think the anime outdid themselves with this one." Now he spins it around and said, let me answer your question with a question of my own. What do you think will happen to the monsters without when you let go of the leash and there's no food?" Making reference to the powers all over the world, Doflamingo had a structure. Now that's with the artificial stuffer fruits. He had a structure. Now it's been taken away. What's going to happen to those? We already saw a sample of what went down in a previous episode with the bounty hunters, when there was sticking daggers in the bounty posters. And that whole thing about in the previous episode about the whole 1 million bounty poster that they thought was a mistranslation, that was done on purpose because we got to reveal it in this episode about the bounty posters towards the end. Now, and then the whole shots with the main players in the new world, we get to see the Yonko. In the manga, I swear you can see the picture for yourself. It's one whole picture with all the main players in the new world, from the Yonko to the admirals, to the Shichibukai, and to the revolutionaries, to the worst generation, all patched into one. But this was done separately. So, Doflamingo's speech is, who will be the one to rule these seas? Will it be the Yonko? And you get to see Kaido, Big Mom, Shanks, and Blackbeard looking badass. And then you see the Shichibukai. You first see Buttock Hancock, then you see the rest, and then you see the admirals. Now, a couple of things. Number one, did you notice what admiral that was in the silhouette? Still not been revealed in the manga, but I'm pretty sure that's Green Bull. So that's number one. Number two, then you see the revolutionaries bit, where you see Sabo, and then you see Ivankov, then you see Dragon, Monkey D Dragon, and then in the corner you see the guy with the hats, maybe the guy who pitched Sabo arrived with the crows, perhaps. But yeah, all the main players, that was a badass speech by Doflamingo saying, and then don't forget, what about the Wall of D? And he was shaking all over the place, which is something the manga did not pick up. So I made the speech even more intense. They were saying, "Alright, listen, you better tell the Tenryubito up in Marajoa, they better get ready because there's going to be a war. A war unlike any other. That's what it looks like. It's an amazing speech by Doflamingo. And the third part of the episode, definitely the most hilarious. With the Go and Luffy Senpai, what more can I say? And a couple of things we pointed out that was pointed out in the anime that was never pointed out in the manga, I don't think. Other than the fact that you have the mask with Luffy's face on it, and then you have the antlers on the side, you have Chopper's face on it, and then a couple of things as well. Number one, the orange trees that Nami has, so that's cool. So I didn't expect that. Then we get introduced to Bartolomeo's crew, and it's a whole crew of fanboys for the Straw Hats. That's funny. Luffy's laughing his ass off, and then we get the reveal about bounty posters, and then once again Bartolomeo's comedy. Oh, by the way, Lord, I threw you out in the trash, but you went up to 500 mil as well. So him and Luffy are tied at 500 mil. If you took, we get the reveal of bounty posters. Zoro's went up to 320. Robin's went up to 130. Again, I was putting this on after the manga chapter. Given the fact she's the only person in the world that can read poneglyphs, I'm pretty sure that's still a bit low. She said it's a bit high, but I thought whatever. I may be biased because I'm a fan of hers, but whatever. Then you get Frank is the only one that's pissed off because he's the only one that did make it over 100 mil because he went to 94 mil, and he's getting pissed off at Usopp's because Usopp's jumped up as well to 200 mil, which is hilarious. It's above Sanji's, but obviously Frankie's super salty as a fucking pretzel, and it just chokes out Usopp. The comedy of this was gold, so I thought it was awesome. And then you see Usopp was panicking the fuck out because he realizes it's high, but it's going to be a high target. So, and then we get to see the rest. I think Nami's shot up at 88 mil, and no, that was Brooks. So that was cool. Bartolomeo did point out that each of the Straw Hats that wasn't involved in Dressrosa much jumped up by 50 at least, and then Sanji, who shot up probably the most out of the crew. And the most important thing about this is not only the bounty shooting up, but, and by the way, we had finally get a new bounty posters for each of them, for each of the Straw Hats. It looks similar to the last ones, but it's like New World looks, so that's cool. And then the most important thing is the Sanji's bounty posters finally got that artistic look away, but it's only wanted alive, so that's going to play a huge role into Zoe. I'm not going to spoil too much, but that bounty poster is going to shake up a lot of things. So, and then finally at the end, we get the reveal. If you see the silhouettes of the Silvermine Pirates for the Silvermine Frill art, which begins next week, which also means we have new opening next week as well. And by the way, one final thing: did you see the Kaido Jolly Roger? And then we get introduced to Captain Jack, the Kaido pirate, standing in front of his ship was in the front of the Fujitori's fleet. So I wonder what's going to happen now. And we do get to see his eyes, so that's badass. So, but that's pretty much it for this review. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. I appreciate that. Comment, rate, subscribe.